Things are gonna look a little bit different today in Stickman Trench Wars. The UI isn't as good, but this is an older build, and the reason that I wanted to play it is, well, as you can see in the bottom right, we have some of the other abilities. Remember, this is an earlier build of Stickman Trench Wars. The game is currently available to Wishlist, and will soon become a playable demo that's going to be downloadable via Steam. Now, in the last video, there were tons and tons of comments. Like, everything from, like, different unit suggestions, different ways to treat officers, different ways to, like, other than just, like, upgrading this trench, all the different nuance and different ways that you could go about developing a game like this. A 2D tug-of-war trench war game based off of World War I. And I love the ideas. But today, I want to clarify that we're going to be talking about something a little bit differently. Units and abilities. Now, some of the units that were suggested in the previous video are pretty classic, like mortars, flamethrowers, and things like that. But also think about, like, abilities as, like, special strikes. Now, we're just going to go and attack these guys. Kind of, hey, look how good it is to defend, right? Defending, very good. So we're going to go all the way back to the start here, up until we can get a stronger force. Now, the bad news is if they do take this trench, we lose. One of the things we've been discussing and experimenting with is once you take this trench, you actually have to shoot and kill the final bunker that is back here. Man, it's kind of funny to see the difference in this build, even with the one that I showed you earlier, which is the demo build. All right, the enemy's coming. Defend this trench, boys, or we lose. Just like World War I, there was an inherent advantage to, well, defending your trenches. So we've got two different options here. Machine gun tank or the regular tank. Now, they're very, very expensive. You need to unlock them using your experience medals that are represented by medals in this game currently. Let's go take out this trench, take it for our own. Oh, we got a little bit lucky there that the enemy jumped out right as we were attacking. And then I think what we could do is save up the money. We're at 370. We only need about $100 more, and we're going to be able to purchase our first tank. Now, a lot still needs to be done and balanced, but when a tank enters the battlefield, you're going to hear them. Now, they're currently represented by the French tank, the Renault FT-17, which is funny, so we strapped a good old United Kingdom flag on the top of it. We are the Brits. Once the tank gets there, we want to charge so that we can coordinate our attack here and take the enemy trench. The enemy AI isn't really equipped necessarily to deal with tanks. And tanks are kind of weak if they're just allowed to get shot. We could try out the machine gun tank, which is a little bit less. Now, anything that you see here isn't decided on. It's not finalized, rather, which is the reason why I was asking about ideas for vehicles and special abilities. We've got artillery barrage. One of the other new ones is precision artillery, which I'll show in another battle right after this. Which, by the way, Wishlist Stickman Trench Wars on Steam right now. You can go onto Steam and search Stickman Trench Wars, or you can use the link in the video description. It helps us out so much, and I am truly appreciative for every one of you that wishlist the game. Thank you. Now that I've done my little plug for, hey, help us get seen by the Steam algorithm. Much like YouTube, YouTube is very algorithmically based, and we found some success here as a community, and I can't thank you guys enough, but Steam is very similar to that. Now, there's different variables at play. We've got this trench built up, and we're going to be saving up for enough money to get a machine gun tank. Oh, well, I've got a problem. The enemy AI done messed me up. Wow, that was brilliantly done. So they used the artillery piece, which was kind of cool because you actually got to see this artillery in the bottom right of their bunker fire. Now, since we don't have the artillery unlocked, it's not visible for us. We just kind of have these placeholder like barrels, which they might be filled with tea, as were the British, you know, like our tea rations. So one of the things that we could do is wait for them to charge us and launch a tank right when they get close to us, which is going to be now. So now it should soak up a decent amount of damage. Oh, get out of the trench! They're shelling us. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to take this, but the shotgunner mixed with the machine gun tank is actually pretty decent. Okay, so let's see. I guess we'll get the machine gunner. The machine gunner's doing pretty decently right now. But one of the things that I wanted to figure out with this game was find a natural counter to tanks other than just like dudes with rifles and shotguns and machine guns. You know what I mean? All right, so we're gonna have to follow this up. This is a big one. Can we take that? Okay, the tank just got knocked out, but the machine gunner came into play at a very clutch time, and the enemy trench has been taken. Now, that battle lasted about 5 minutes and 41 seconds, but who's counting? I am. It's literally in the upper right hand. Now, another thing is, like, the maps in the demo build, you'll notice as I play my demo build on Steam, I'm the developer. I give myself keys. Big play games, baby! Hey, that's us. You'll notice that the maps, when you go to check single battle, you kind of get to see the trench layout. These lines aren't like Morse code. No, these are, in fact, the trench layouts. So you pick your nation, you can see this big gap between the trenches, and then these ones are closer, just like they are here in the little preview. Now, there's probably cool ways to do this UI, like in the UI and make it better. But this one, all the trenches are closer. We're experimenting with others. There were some really, really good ideas as far as like what to do with defensive fortifications and trenches. Like this is very early. I'm showing you this very early in development relative to like the content calendar that we have planned. So I'm gonna go back to the older build and we are gonna show off mortars. Now this one, where all the trenches are within sniper firing distance, makes the sniper a very, very powerful unit. And in order to conserve on metals, we're not going to purchase any shotgunners. We're just going to do riflemen. And what I'm going to try to do is lure the British, now that I'm playing as the Germans, and get them to attack my trench. That is my goal. Because then I want to unlock precision artillery, which is AKA the mortars. Yeah, so this build is actually like a couple months ago. We've been really focusing on trying to make the demo as good to play as possible. You know what? If you're gonna do it, man, you gonna give it to me. Got a little bit of experience, took out the enemy. We only lost 1 troop to kill 3, mainly because we outnumbered them. The AI in this build is probably a little bit different than I'm used to. And we're 1 experience medal. Like, the economy might even be different than what I'm used to. So, you know, just to clarify, this is more of a preview of some of just the units and special abilities. Tanks, like, because in the demo, you're gonna have artillery barrage and things like that. You know what? Let's go ahead and just, like, defend us a little bit better. Could attack them. But, I mean, I just spent $150 in forcing this trench to basically, it increases the percentage that the enemy will miss. We're trying to find that proper balance between, like, the historical accuracy of what warfare in World War I was fought like once trenches came into play, as well as, you know, having fun in the game. The enemy is making shotgunners. I worry if they get out artillery. We'll see it pop up over here in the bottom right of their base. But the enemy, you know what? Here, let's not build any more units and let's see if we can't bait the enemy into attacking. I like the visual style. I basically wanted a game that was sort of a nice hybrid between 2 of my favorite tug-of-war games of all time. Or I guess you could say 3. Here we go. Precision artillery. Oh, of course you're gonna attack me, right? Boom. Get wrecked. So we got out of our fortified trench. We probably could take that one if we wanted to. And I'm going to get another precision strike really soon. What do we want to do? An artillery barrage? Probably. This one we're kind of going artillery centered. Another idea that I've thrown around, and this is not a promise that it's going to happen. Whoops. I just called in artillery on myself as a test. And I regret it immediately. And the enemy's like, you know what? That's cool. But don't worry. We get to do this. Counter artillery. Now, the artillery barrage is random. It fires like 3 different shells, and there's a variance to it, which is sort of like the incentive of why you might want to use precision artillery. That's going to become even more important as an ability once you start getting snipers and machine gunners, and not just these submachine gunners, but like I want static machine guns. Or if the enemy's bringing up a tank, that's a pretty tried and true way of taking them out. They got an officer. We'll assassinate the officer with an artillery precision artillery strike. My good boy. Yeah, see that? Look at that. That was not a very good artillery barrage relative to some of the other ones we've had because of the RNG. Little bit of luck or a little bit of unluck. Is that what it's called? Unluck? So I hope you guys have been thinking about like what other units and special abilities you'd like to see And if you look down in the comments right now, and you're like, wow, this guy like put out this really well-described rationale for this unit or this list of units. Or some guy may have just said, hey, flamethrower, up dutes down below, you know, and you do that. I get it, because flamethrowers are pretty necessary. Do we have any officers? A machine gunner. I don't like him. He's a very powerful unit. We shall take him out. A machine gunner, a rifleman, and a shotgunner here. Hey, that was very, very fortunate. Okay. Now what I want to do is bring up a machine gun tank to help break the sort of stalemate, the deadlock. But Baron, you could have used the artillery. You're right. I could have. But I didn't. Because I'm the general, dang it, man! And as the Germans, we don't have any tea rations, but ooh, we have the schnapps. Schnapps und schnapps und schnapps. And we're giving schnapps rationing to all my boys right now. Over the top! Machine gun open fire, took a lot of the damage here. And we're gonna wait for another tank. I think in this build is actually like the tank is a little bit under armored. It's not underpowered in terms of its the machine gun's ability. But right now it's like you definitely want to use a combined arm approach in terms of like you don't just send a tank by itself, at least right now. But I do want to have tanks be like this mammothly powerful unit within the game. Gentlemen, charge! It's be a really interesting idea to have like potentially bayonets as well. Gentlemen, charge! So the tank takes the first blast, or the first couple. Oh, this is gonna be easy. One rifleman. Get 'em, boys! Yes! Charge and take the trench, and victory is ours. So yes, both tanks, machine gun and like main cannon version, which do need to be refined. And then precision artillery, aka mortars, and then barrage artillery. Wishlist on Steam. And coming soon, when this is available, which I believe is going to be around October 3rd, it's going to coincide with Steam's Next Fest. This is the demo that you're going to have. Now, Endless and Campaign are blacked out because those are modes that we are going to be saving for the full release of the game. We want to have the price point very, very cheap, mind you. Like, we're talking probably $2 or $3.99 US. And I actually wanted to get your thoughts on the pricing. We're gonna get a machine gunner. These guys are just so dang good. They're so expensive, but if you have enough rifleman fodder around, like they can either defend a trench or take an enemy trench rather well. So we're gonna have a machine gunner and 4 riflemen. And right now the enemy can't bring in tanks because they are not allowed in the demo version of the game. Partially because, well, to be quite frank, they need to be balanced better so that like a few riflemen can't just kill it, but at the same time they don't totally overpower. And secondarily, we can't give away everything in the demo, right? But one of the goals and aspirations of this game is, yes, to get it on mobile, because I think when you see this game, you're like, wow, it's like a fun casual game that I used to play in Flash, or like some mobile games that I play. Not necessarily like a PC game, and that's fine, right? But we're making it on PC first because, quite frankly, it's the easiest for us to do. I've never released a game on mobile. Not yet. I think this will be the first one, and I'm pretty excited for it. The enemy is fortifying this with lots of riflemen. Yes, they got bayonets, but you can't use the bayonets, at least not yet. So at this point, one of the things that we could do is bunker up this trench. So there's a little bit of a visual differentiation. I also want the sandbags to look a little bit different. And I don't want these like tire tracks. That's one of the graphical things that we want to change before the demo is released. But it's just been so much fun. It's been such a learning experience, like going about developing and publishing games. Still very much in the early days for Frompy Games, Big Play Games. Frompy Games being the dev team that we built Bot Wars. And there's another thing that I'm going to be sharing with you guys very soon from the team that brought you Bot Wars. This is a different team. And see, this is another thing that's not in the previous build. This is sort of like it increases the replayability, and we're still refining, and we will update the demo so the rewards are refined. But at this point, I think I don't want to summon a shotgunner because it doesn't really unlock it. Like, this seems to be, out of these 3 choices, number 3. And then these 2 are the same, except for the fact that this one has more amount. So this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. Boom. At least in my professional opinion. and that will allow me to summon another machine gunner. And you know what, we're gonna unlock shotgunners, because I feel like shotgunners and machine gunners, if you can get a stars, like, you can really pump out some powerful attack. The enemy, for some reason, what are you doing, buddy? Okay, they just got shotgunners. We're gonna give them the old 1-2. That's a lot of men in that trench. Oh my god, their first salvo decimated us. Okay, we're gonna have to go back here. Yikes. Okay, we got this. Oh, thank the heavens above. Okay, we can either hire a sniper, but we're all the way back to our starting trench, so a sniper is not gonna do much for us. If we were in a trench where like we were within sniper distance of the other one, I might go for that. But we really need to recoup our losses, so 400 stars is fantastic. Oh my god, they're already here. Oh my god, they're already here! They took the trench. So the lesson being, don't be overconfident. And another thing that we're going to have to balance, which a lot of you guys that are going to be playing the demo are going to help us with this, so I really appreciate that, is like figuring out that sweet balance between the defender's advantage in trench warfare and how to make it balanced for proper fun. So once again, Wishlist Stickman Trench Wars on Steam today. It's a huge help to me, and I really appreciate it. And I'm going to have some news for you as far as like probably some Steam streams and the release date of the demo, but right now you can plan on October 3rd being the release date for the Stickman Trench Wars demo, which will be free to play. So thanks for watching. Can't wait to read all of the ideas and suggestions in the comments below, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.